Hey everyone, Dr. Alex Ritzy here, downtown Toronto neurostructural chiropractor. It is Thanksgiving Day Monday here in Canada, and if you're living in the States or elsewhere, sorry you guys don't have a holiday. Welcome everyone live to Instagram Live and Facebook Live for episode 23 of Lunch and Learns with me, Dr. Alex. And today guys, we're going to keep it kind of short and sweet. It is a holiday here. I want to get out on the bike. And I want to give some really good value because we have the Scotiabank Marathon coming up here in Toronto in a few weeks' time, and we have a huge Instagram series coming out in the next couple weeks with I think 18 posts ready for you guys, talking about all about knee pain, especially as it relates to running and with sports. So we know from the statistics about 50% of runners are going to be injured every single year. I have run. I have been that injured runner. And I think that, judging by our practice members, you guys have been injured as well with running. It's really frustrating because I think I do like running. I actually love it, but I hate always being injured or always feeling broken down. So I want to impart some value and some strategies that runners or people that are looking to get into running or training for that first half or marathon or 5K have some strategies to avoid getting injured. So when it comes to running, one of the biggest injuries is usually as it relates to the knee, and that's actually the focus of our upcoming Instagram series is knee pain. But we tie in the running because so many runners get knee pain. So let's talk about generalities about why a lot of people get injured and get knee pain with running, and we're going to keep it pretty general and just hit the hot topic today. So when it comes to the knee, the majority of knee issues with running are a result of the knee not moving properly. So some people might have heard this before as patellar tracking, which basically means is the kneecap moving back and forth properly through the knee, or is there a malalignment or a bad tracking where the kneecap can move to the side. And we talk about moving in the kneecap, it's not a gross dislocation, it's small millimeter changes. So I think even before I was going to school, there was a line of thought thinking that it was an imbalance between the quadricep muscles here. So quad meaning four muscles here on the front of the thigh, and one of them people were thinking that it was maybe this vastus medialis obliquus muscle, or the VMO. Maybe this muscle on the inside is not strong enough to pull the kneecap in the proper direction, because the majority of knee issues we're finding are some rubbing underneath the kneecap against the femur, causing some pain and some irritation. And so researchers thought that, hey, maybe we can strengthen this VMO muscle, bring the kneecap back into the center, and yada yada yada, you get rid of knee problems and knee pain. Whoa, and that's how you have a slipping of the iPad. Sketchy. Okay, let's hopefully that doesn't happen again. So, anywho, this is no good. Okay guys, we're done on that one. Alright, so we're just going Instagram Live now. So when it comes to knee pain, we really want to focus again on that knee, and researchers are thinking maybe it's the vastus medialis obliquus that we want to focus on. So some subsequent research has come out and has shown us that actually most knee problems are not a knee problem in itself. So most knee problems are the result of an issue with the ankle and with the hip. And so what research has subsequently found is that a lot of people that get knee problems, they use the wrong strategy for bending or loading of the knee. People tend to use more of a knee strategy, they get knee pain, where they really load up the knee. There's a lot more forward movement or forward weight put on that knee joint. And then that can lead to pain and more pressure through the knee. And the researchers also found that people, when they tend to use more of a hip strategy, or they load the hips more, it's going to take pressure and weight off of the knee, loading the hip, and you're going to have less knee problems and knee pain. And so, rather than bending forward, we're actually bending backwards and using that hip. And so the same thing with running. If you're using more of the hip to accept and distribute the load, you're going to have fewer knee problems. And so we also want to target our exercises this way. And the second part of that, where we talked about the ankle being a major contributor to knee issues, if somebody has very flat feet or pes planus, they're going to have more flexible, mobile ankles, and every time you take a step, you're also going to have an inward twisting of that knee, like this. And with that inward twisting of the knee, it's more likely you're going to get some irritation and some rubbing. Because rather than it being a muscle issue with the VMO not pulling it enough in, it's really the fact that the entire leg is collapsing and causing some rubbing here on the outside. So as a recap, flat feet or pronated feet that move inwards are going to contribute to more knee rubbing. And same thing if you don't have strong hips. When the hip is not strong and the knee bends in, you're going to have more knee rubbing and more knee issues. So our exercises and our rehab stuff, when it comes to running and knee problems, they're going to really focus on the hips, because their glute medius, minimus, and maximus, they are big, strong muscles, and they can produce really good results from targeting them rather than the quads. So we want to use a hip strategy instead of a knee strategy, and even the feet. Now, while I think exercises that are going to target the feet, and if you have flat feet and a pronated type gait, I think it is important to target, but you can really make up for that deficit by focusing on the hips and focusing on the glutes. So that's where a lot of our Instagram drills and concepts are going to be focused on over the next couple weeks. And I really wanted to impart onto everyone today that the more that you can focus on your glutes when you are training for a marathon, when you are training for a race, or you are any type of athlete, you really want to focus on the glutes just to make sure that they are strong, and to make sure that when the knee comes forward, it always goes over the foot instead of in, causing excess rubbing and pain. So we're going to have a ton of great content coming up. And the other thing that's very interesting when we take a look at runners is that when you manually muscle test people that are even strong endurance runners, they've done marathons in the past, we often find that when you test that glute on the outside, you get them to push out to test the gluteus minimus and medius. They often test very weak. And so in this case, it's not so much an issue that the muscles themselves are too small and too weak. It's often that power supply, or the brain-body connection, the signal from the nervous system, from the spine down to that glute, is not as good as it should be. Why does this happen? There's a number of different causes. It could be from sitting too much all day on those nerves. It could be that there's an actual problem, core problem in the spine and nervous system interfering with that signal. So when we manage this, of course, exercises and building the strength up in the muscle is important, but you also want to make sure the activation from those nerves to the glute is as good as it can be. We'll talk also a little bit about how I don't think glute activation exercises are even a thing or even enough, but you do want to focus on the glutes to build strength. So I hope everyone, especially in Canada, has an amazing Monday, an amazing Thanksgiving. Stay tuned for lots of great knee and running content that's going to be coming up in the next couple weeks. Direct message me if you have any questions, because I feel this Instagram Live was a little bit more rambly than usual. But yeah, I look forward to giving you guys lots of great content. Have a spectacular day, and remember, focus on the glutes, make it a hip strategy rather than a knee strategy when you move and when you do your rehab exercises. And I'll see you guys later. Take care.